Steve Israel with the DCCC. Thanks for joining me.
Great to be with you.
Give me the lay of the land in Florida. You've got, what, 4 or 5 districts you're looking at picking up?
Well, that's right. We need 25 seats to take back the House and stop Republicans from trying to end Medicare, which is what they've relentlessly been trying to do. And Florida is a critical part of that path. We believe that we'll be competitive in 5 to 7 districts throughout Florida. We believe we can pick up seats in Florida. And we're going to make the 2012 congressional elections a referendum on whether or not we should allow Republicans to terminate Medicare. If people think that that's a good idea, they should vote for a Republican. If they think it's a bad idea, they should vote for a Democrat in Congress to protect Medicare.
And let's go, we're going to have 2 more districts. We're not sure where they're going to be. At least one of them almost certainly to be in the Orlando area.
Well, redistricting is a major piece of this. I've always been puzzled why Florida has 600,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans, and yet a congressional delegation of 6 Democrats and 19 Republicans. That is just not fair. Thankfully, we have a fair redistricting in Florida, and so we're hopeful that the redistricting will reflect the true numbers of voters in Florida, and Florida gains 2 seats. We just want a fair process.
And let's go district by district, if you don't mind.
Sure.
David Rivera, he's one of your targets.
Well, David Rivera represents the Miami area, and he is under numerous investigations for difficulties that he had. And so we believe that's a competitive seat. He doesn't really represent the values and priorities of that district. We believe that will be competitive. We have a Democratic candidate named Luis Garcia, who is the first Cuban-American fire chief to run for Congress, and we're very proud of him. So that's a key pickup opportunity. That's Florida 25.
Moving north, Alan West, raising scads of money.
Alan West represents a district that fundamentally disagrees with his extremism. I have to look at districts all over the country. That is one of those districts where the new incumbent is just way out of the mainstream. And there we have at least 2 candidates, Lois Frankel and Patrick Murphy. Both are very highly regarded. Both are raising a lot of money. And that's a district that voted not only for President Obama, but also for John Kerry. It is a Democratic district, and we're confident of winning that one.
Daniel Webster, moving up toward the Orlando area. We're going to see another, we don't know what's going to happen with his in redistricting, but Webster's never been a big fundraiser. What are you looking at there?
Well, Orlando could be very fluid. There's likely to be at least one additional district in Orlando. Congressman Webster has also voted to terminate Medicare and has not really raised the resources that he needs. He's going to need a lot of resources to defend his vote to end Medicare. We have a wonderful woman, Val Demings, who's the former police chief in Orlando. She announced that she was running for Congress, retired as police chief, and she actually outraised Daniel Webster in her first quarter. So we're very proud of her.
And what are the likelihood, I guess we don't know, a Grayson versus Demings in a primary?
It's very fluid. Alan Grayson has announced that he will be running for Congress. He raised about $400,000. He's upset with the Republicans again for that Medicare vote and so many other things. But we're going to have to wait to see how the lines are finalized to determine whether there will be a primary between Val Demings and Alan Grayson, or whether they'll be running in separate districts.
Okay, moving over west along the I-4 corridor, Vern Buchanan. You've got a strong recruit in Keith Fitzgerald. Vern Buchanan's got, Lord knows, a lot of money. How do you look at that?
Vern Buchanan has a lot of money, but he also has a lot of ethical baggage. And we have Keith Fitzgerald, a former state legislator, who is a wonderful candidate. He announced just several weeks ago, and we think that district can be competitive as well. Again, depending largely on redistricting.
And then Bill Young, you've got your eye on. A lot of people have had their eye on him for decades. Many people in Pinellas have watched their careers fade away waiting for him to retire. Doesn't look like he's going to retire. Why would he be vulnerable?
Well, Bill could be vulnerable, again, with redistricting. First of all, the current district, Florida 10, currently is a marginally Democratic district. Now, if redistricting improves it, and again, I just want it to be a fair process, but if a fair process improves Democratic performance in Florida 10, largely by putting Florida 10 wholly within Pinellas County, then the Democratic performance increases. Bill Young would have to defend his vote to end Medicare in a year that is very challenging for incumbents, particularly incumbents who've been around for a long time. So there could be a different dynamic in Florida 10 than there has been in the past.
And then what's the last one? It's major targets is the Steve Southerland seat?
Yeah, that's Florida 2. Steve Southerland also did not, there's something happening in his district where he may not be highly regarded. He hasn't raised a lot of money. He also has to defend a vote to end Medicare, and so we believe that district could be play as well.
And I don't know if you paid attention, there's a former legislator, Nancy Argenziano, populist, very popular. She tried to run as a Democrat and through a sort of technicality, now she's running as independent. Are you all going to help her?
Well, Nancy has expressed an interest, and we're doing recruiting throughout that district. We have lots of options, and the people of that district have lots of options to consider. But based on the current situation, based on the unpopularity of the incumbent, we believe that that district will be in play, and that we're very fortunate to have several people who agree with Democrats that we shouldn't end Medicare wanting to run in that district.
Have you talked to Scott Maddox? It's one of the names I've heard.
I've not personally talked to him. No.
But if Nancy Argenziano ran, could you see supporting her? She promised to caucus with the Democrats?
You know, it's too early to say. As long as, first of all, there needs to be local consensus. We don't handpick candidates from Washington, D.C. We defer to the locals. So if there could be some consensus by the local folks, local Democrats, activists, and others, that she should be the candidate, we'd be pleased to support her so long as she reflects the values and priorities of Democrats and says that she will not vote as a Republican to support the Ryan budget, which would end Medicare. That is our litmus test.
And so thanks, I really appreciate this. I guess clearly Florida is a big part of the equation in trying to pick up those 25 seats you need.
Florida could very well mean the difference between continued Republican control of the House and more Ryan budgets to end Medicare for more seniors, or it could decide that they want to change in policy and direction so that we can protect Medicare. Florida is going to be a pivot in the congressional elections in 2012.
Chairman Israel, thanks very much.